What up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Under 1,000 Pod. This is season 3. Yes, we're in season 3. We did 2 full seasons. You can definitely go check those out on my YouTube channel. I'll probably put a playlist somewhere where you can play it. But this season, we are bringing on other animal enthusiasts, hobbyists, and breeders, and get to know their journey doing breeding, keeping these animals that we all love. We're trying to expand to different species, reptiles, amphibians, dogs, cats, gerbils, fish, all that stuff. So if you know anyone that you would like to be a guest or think you would be really good on this, let me know. Hit me up. My information is in the description down below. But yeah, if you are interested in being a guest, let me know as well, and I'll put you on the list and we'll try to get to you. We got 50 weeks left to do it for 50 Fridays, I would say. Yeah. So plenty of room. So don't worry. We should be able to get a lot of people in. I'm trying to get a lot of new people, a lot of different communities, because we got to come all together and help each other out and give us the ability to keep the animals we love and keep working with them. So, guys, before we bring on our guests, we have so many people in the chat. Let's say what's up to a couple people. What's up, Will? Thanks for coming through. Bosa, what's up? Keys Constrictors, thanks for coming through. T, Keisha, appreciate y'all. Definitely go. Congrats for 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you guys aren't already following, go make sure you go follow. They hit 2,000. They'll be doing a giveaway soon, so look out for that. Tammy, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Eric, what's up, Eric? This is for you, Eric. Carl, thanks for coming through. Eric Moore Factory, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Rig, thanks for coming through. Oh, so many people. Wiz Constrictors, thanks for coming through. Malacio, I'm always worried I'm not gonna say it right, Malacio. So thanks for coming through. James, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Well, Coastal Exotics, what's up? Thanks for coming through. John, what's up? Thanks for coming through. So with that all out the way, let's go ahead and say thank you to our sponsor. This month's sponsor, I gotta remember to say it that way. This month's sponsor for this episode. This month's sponsor is Big D's Pythons. Yes, Derek is Big D's Pythons. He's a great guy, great friend, also an amazing ball python breeder. He produced some awesome animals this season, so definitely go check it out. Check out his Morph Market, his Instagram, to see some of those animals if you're interested. But he also is a YouTuber. He has his own YouTube channel and his own podcast he does every Thursday. Thirsty Thursdays. Go check him out on Thursday with Hutch. They host it together. It's a great time. Definitely go watch it. But also, Derek carries the chipper. So if you're in need of cocoa and you're in the Illinois area, Derek is the one you can call. He could probably meet up with you and you guys can handle business there. But he also can ship it. So if you're looking for cocoa, definitely hit Derek up. But thank you, Derek, for being the sponsor of this month's episode. Greatly appreciate it. And go check Derek out and make sure you hit that subscribe, follow, and tell him I sent you. All right. Thanks again, Derek, for sponsoring this, being this month's sponsor. Greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you're interested in being a sponsor of the podcast, let me know. We have different tiers and different ways you can sponsor. You'll see two other ways you can later on in the show. But guys, with that all out the way, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. Hello. How are you doing?
How's it going? Doing pretty well over here.
Oh, great. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and let them know some of the species you keep and breed.
Yep, I am Nick Karaskevich. I am the owner and operator of Cyber Serpents, also on another brand called Cyber Tees, which I'll get to here in a little bit. Ball pythons is my mainstay right now. About a collection, about 150 plus, still growing on that side.
Wow.
Do keep a small collection as well of red-tailed boa constrictors too. And then always, most people have known me. I've been a lizard guy since I was about 8-9 years old. At this point, only lizards I work with are monitor lizards, mangrove monitors, Nile monitors. So your big stuff with all your wonderful scary teeth and gram-negative bacteria. And then my kind of newest venture as well has been the tarantulas. So tarantulas, true spiders, new worlds, old worlds. Pretty much if it can put you in the hospital, I work with it.
Which I did. I knew you had tarantulas. I didn't know you had ones that can put you in the hospital.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Which we will try to bring you back another time to talk about tarantulas.
Yeah,
I'm really
definitely
interested in that. But today we're going to talk about your ball pythons. We're going to get a little bit into your ball python world, learn about you and your journey with them as well. So guys, if you haven't already, he's on Instagram. We have his Morph Market in the description down below. Go follow those. Go hit those follow buttons. Check out his Instagram. Check out his Morph. You could follow on Morph Market too. You could follow people now too, just like Instagram. So definitely go do that. What else? I had to change up stuff because we're not just doing YouTube people all the time. Because first 2 seasons, it was everybody from YouTube. So now I'm expanding it to people just out there. So this, you try to get to talk to more people. And I met you at Tinley. That's where we met, and we first started talking. And it was such a good conversation. You was telling me stuff that I didn't even think about. I was like, I gotta have you on the podcast.
I appreciate
it. So I was so excited that you said yes and was willing to do this. So thank you again for that. There's so many comments, so many people in here. I appreciate everyone. I'm terrible at keeping up with comments, so I'm going to do my best. If you see anything, Nick, if you see a comment you want or anything, let me know. A question or something that pops up you want to answer, let me know.
Sure.
Nicole, what's up? Thanks for coming through. You see I got your shirt on, Nicole. You see I got it right there. Right there. So warm. It's going to be real warm in the snake room, but we'll hold on to it for a while. Fred, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. I'm trying to see if that's everybody. No, somebody else coming in. Patrick, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Keep doing your thing. I'm looking forward to more videos from you too. I got to start watching videos. I'm so behind on YouTube videos. I have like a watch later.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people, so many videos, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I put them on like not 2x, I put it like 1.5 to make sure I get the chance to watch them. So I understand it. It's so many good channels too, so many good stuff. I think that's everybody.
I see Tammy just commented with the mangrove monitor. I had to comment on this one. So my breeder set. So I had never been bitten by my mangroves. My mangroves, for the most part, I like to brag, they're like the chillest mangroves ever. It was last Christmas, not this past one, but the one before. I was in there on Christmas Eve, and I decided to poke my male a little too much and just kind of screw around with him. And man, he nailed me right on the thumb.
Ooh, how bad of a bite was it?
Not too bad. I mean, there's a little bit of a mark still on my one hand here. Like it's not, if you hold my hand up, like you can't really see it, but there's like a tiny little mark if you look microscopic with it still, where you can see like one tooth mark was. But I mean, obviously the mangroves, I mean, they will, with that bite, if they do get a hold of you, it's the bacteria really in it, because they do have the gram-negative bacteria there that'll kind of mess with you. It just kind of stops the coagulation of your blood a little bit. But
because I used to have iguanas, and I know they said something about they have bad bacteria in their mouth. I don't think it's nearly as bad, but they do have that bad bacteria, so you need to get it cleaned out if you do get bit, and make sure you do what you're supposed to. So compared to a ball python bite and a monitor bite, which one was worse for you?
I mean, the monitor bite was weird because like I wasn't expecting it, because I'd had them at that point for like 3+ years, and and I mean, the mangrove, I mean, like I said, I just wasn't expecting it. And when it happened, it was just like I don't know what to say. Like, you just kind of looked at it and you're like, I looked at him, I said a couple of expletives and was like, dude, like, what are you doing? He let go and then just like scurried off, and it was real funny. But
oh, wow.
Ball pythons, honestly, like, I don't know, I just kind of see them as like annoying. They're kind of like bee stings when they bite you. You're like, oh man, like, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not
True.
It's not like I got wrapped by, like an 8-foot boa or something on my forearm or something. You're like, no, this is.
It definitely took me a little time to get over the shock of being bit, because it's just that initial shock. So you pull, and I got used to not pulling when I got bit, and now it's just like it's like somebody poking you with a safety pin.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there it is, right there. Okay. Oh, you're gonna hold on. You're gonna hold on. Usually you let go when you bite, but now I've had a couple just hold on, which is seems more random than them just biting and pulling away, that they actually hold on, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, my buddies had that happen to him a couple of times. I've never had one go and just latch on and wrap from a ball python perspective. But like, I always joke, I'm like, it's every season. There's always that like one hatchling. It always happens to be, and everyone here is a puzzle person is going to make the joke. It's always one of the puzzles or one of the head puzzles that's like going to give you a big old, F you and like just keep just hammering you.
True. What's up, Kent? Thanks for coming through. Mike, thanks for coming through. Top Moon Reptiles, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. So let's get into some of these questions. Once I find, I forgot I did it a different way. So I got to do something different. I realized I forgot that I changed the way I do questions.
No worries.
This is technically the first live for me for the third season where I kind of revamped things and stuff and did stuff a little differently. So it's going to take me a little second here and there at times. So work with me, people. Work with me. So before we actually get to this question, this is one of the new ways you guys can sponsor the show. You could actually get your logo on that question. So if you're interested in that, I call it a question sponsorship. Let me know, and we get that set up for next episode if you're interested. But it's another way you guys can promote your brand and show a little support to the channel. Greatly appreciate it if you decide to do that. But Nick, what was your first reptile?
Yep, first reptile was a yellow leatherback bearded dragon. I was 8 years old.
Okay. So what was it about getting at 8? That's just pretty young.
Yeah,
that's pretty young. So what drew you to that leatherback?
So at that point, it was the biggest thing that my parents would let me have. That was a reptile that was cool. Straight up, because I remember going into Brian Potter's Chicago Reptile House when I was a kid, and like, because I convinced my parents at that point, like, yeah, I want a lizard. And they're like, what do you want? And I was like, I want that. And there's like a 6-foot Nile monitor in there. And my dad's like, no, like, we're gonna not do that. So that was honestly the main reason, was like, my parents were like, if we're buying this for you, like, we've got to be okay with it. So yeah, that was the coolest thing that I could get him to let me buy. So
you were trying to go real big on that first one.
So I was straight up trying to go dinosaur right off the bat. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. So like, if I could get a real life dinosaur, I was gonna get it. Understandable.
Okay, so they put the kibosh on that, but they went, hey, this bearded dragon, we think you can handle that. So do you remember what you named him or her?
Yeah, I remember, because I could not come up with a name for the life of me. And back then, I don't know, like, that was back before a lot of the stuff had kind of fully come out with the walnut chips. Like, walnut chips are bad for bearded dragons. But I didn't know what to name it, so I named it Walnut. I'm not even joking, like, straight up. His name was Walnut.
I like it. That's a reasonable 8-year-old's name right there. That's reasonable for an 8-year-old to name it. I like it. So what did you learn with Walnut being your first reptile, keeping reptiles?
Yeah. I mean, for me, Walnut lived with me, I think, think it was 13, 14 years before, he ended up passing away. So, he had a long, happy life.
Nice.
Really for me, I think it was before the reptiles. I mean, I grew up, I had dogs, we had horses at one point. So a lot of the kind of upkeep pieces, I always kind of say, like, if you've been around farm animals and stuff, you go to a reptile, it's no different. It's no different. So like that part wasn't really different. I think it was just, the different type of interaction that you get. And that's just the one thing that I just expressed. I mean, I would say the only thing somewhat similar, that you get with something like like a lizard or a reptile or something like that is like, I mean, if you've dealt with certain things like pheasant or quail and stuff, like some of them, and even chickens to a degree, or turkeys, kind of have that same kind of interesting personality to them. But until you actually own, a reptile, I think it's some of that personality and just interaction with them that's just, for me, is just kind of the cool part, the fascination part in it. I've just always been, just kind of I guess, animal nerd type person. But like I said, I think that's just part of me. My grandfather was someone that, he would buy, 1, 2 of everything. His farm was basically Noah's Ark. So,
yeah, that's how I got into wanting to breed snakes. Is just the process of learning about them, learning how to take care of them. That was just so fascinating. And people seem to downplay the joy of learning about an animal and learning how to take care of them, learning their habits and taking that time. It's a beautiful thing to do. And then when you get the animal and then you start to put all that stuff you learn into effect and you taking care of the animal and you get that attachment to the animal on top of that, it's magical. It's very magical.
Exactly. And that's a main reason why I still, to this day, like keeping a small collection of boa constrictors and monitors, just because it's very similar. I always say to, like, if you break a horse, if anyone who's worked with a horse, you work all that time to get it to break, to trust you, to not buck you off, all of those things, to feel ready and saddle born. It's that same thing with a monitor, with a boa, just the amount that you can tell, or even things like retics, the amount that you can tell that, like, they, remember you, have a cognitive ability about understanding and seeing your movements and actions. And, and even when you take, I hate to say lesser reptiles, but lesser intelligent reptiles, like a ball python. I mean, I've done it multiple times. A show, I pick it out and, like, you see a first time person, they're like, "Oh, you sure?" And I'm just like straight up putting my hand on top of the head and crawling up. And they're like, "How do you know?" And I'll be putting my, like, finger straight up. I'm like, "Look, I'll just open the mouth up. I don't really care. I'll put my finger in there." And they're like, "How do you know that it's not going to?" And I'm like, "Because I've worked with this animal enough that I absolutely know that I can hand it off to your kid. And if your kid's going to be a little rough with it, the animal's going to say, 'No, I don't really care.'"
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's learning the snakes' personalities.
Exactly.
Learning the signs when they're stressed out, when they don't want to be touched, when they do want to be held. Some people don't think snakes have personalities, and they do. Just like multiple animals have different personalities out of all multiple different species, they have personalities. You just gotta take that time to recognize it. That's all it is.
Correct. Yeah. And I think it's just, obviously we've been spoiled as, basically the fact that, we're primates. So because we're intelligent beings, we're thinking about all these other things all the time. But realistically, you got to look at the animal and what the animal was made to do. What does it want to do? How does it want to interact? And then a lot of that you can bring into the way that you train and work with it. It's the same with a dog. Why does a herding dog want to run in circles around your kid, versus you got other dogs like Great Danes that pass out on the couch for 12 hours? There's a rhyme and a reason to it. And that's the same thing with a lot of these different reptiles. And I think, the more that you understand the species that you're working with, that's when, things, that's how you reduce the risk of potential, accidents and stuff, especially when you're working with, things that can, take a chunk out of you or can potentially put you in the hospital. And that's why, for me, I've always been a proponent, look, outside of the tarantulas, I don't do venomous right now. Part of it is because I live in Illinois and all the stupid rules. But I tell people, I'm like, no, if someone wants to go work with a rattlesnake, go work with a rattlesnake. I mean, if you learn the animal and you understand the animal appropriately, your risk is still lowering. As long as you understand what that risk is, it's just all about mutual respect on both sides.
True. Very true. Oh yeah, that mutual respect. I don't think we say that enough in multiple different animal communities.
Yeah.
Mutual respect. You got to take the time to understand what that animal needs and make sure you respect those needs. 100%. 100%. So we had a couple people come in. I'm going to try to remember. Eden, thanks for coming in. Stan, Carr, Leica, Justin, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys coming hanging out with us. So let's hit another question. Oh, this is interesting. There we go. So this is usually my favorite question. So what is your favorite codom and your favorite recessive mortar?
Yeah, I'm going to start with recessive because that's an easy one. Straight up puzzle, 100%. I mean, and I'll make the joke about this too because it's even 100% the truth. At the time, I was looking to add another recessive, and my wife came across this bamboo puzzle that Will at TJW, shout out to you, buddy, that he had posted, and I jumped on it, I bought it, and I got hooked. And then Will was at St. Louis NARBC, and he had more puzzles, and I was like, yeah, I want more puzzles. So I bought more puzzles from him, and then I bought another puzzle then from Ozzy this year here as well. I absolutely love it. I've got a couple of multi-recessive projects with Ultra Mill Puzzle, which is from Sean Smith at SRS Exotics as well. I picked those up from him. Okay. And, I love what it does from a pattern perspective, but also as the puzzle ages as well, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, when you put pastel with puzzle, actually as it ages, it still looks really cool. It doesn't brown out. Puzzle brightens also as well as it grows pretty.
I was just about to ask you that. Does it brighten as it grows?
I think it does have a little bit of brightness to it as it grows.
Okay.
And that's at least what I've noticed with my puzzle stuff. I mean, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I think it's a great combination between color, the amount of cleanness in the pattern, but also the wildness in the pattern. And when you can put those three things together and not hurt one or the other, I think that's like the trifecta of ball pythons. So that's why recessive wise puzzle is, and as you keep seeing in the years to come here, I'm going to have more and more and more and more puzzle because I absolutely love it right now. I think it's the coolest recessive on the market.
Okay.
Codom wise, I think everyone here is gonna, pretty much already probably know this one. It's gonna be the asphalt game. That when I first got into ball pythons, asphalt and gravel, those were things I grabbed. I've got basically asphalt. Everything I've been doing every single year with asphalt has all been set up. And it's mainly because of where I want my asphalt stuff to go. But for me, I absolutely love, the freeway project, the super asphalt project. I think it's still a project that even as more things go recessive, that there's so much power in being able to have a codom that has such a strong allelic reaction with something like yellow belly.
I'm actually trying to get asphalt. I've been looking at acid.
Yep.
But I want to get asphalt. But I'm starting to understand the power of the yellow belly complex and stuff. Yeah. I produced some pied yellow bellies. Even though I had a pied yellow belly, once I produced a pied yellow belly, it was like a really good example of yellow belly and pie together.
Right.
It just blows your mind away. Like, oh my God, why haven't I been putting this into stuff already?
Exactly. And like, I joke with people too all the time. Like it was like this last year at the end of the year, I was going through my collection and I had a buddy over and he goes, yo, you got more gravel, more asphalt in your collection than you do yellow belly. And I said, don't tell anybody.
So how do you feel about the genetic testing, being able to map out asphalt, gravel, yellow belly?
So, I mean, I think there's going to be a little bit of a plus and minus, with the industry. One, I think there's still some kinks to be worked out. I'm really curious, as other competitors come out and other methods to test it, because right now it's gel-based testing. Just kind of, if we're able to do something like swab-based from a mouth, we can get higher accuracy. Those are the things I'm interested in, just from a nerd perspective. The thing I think it's going to change from the business perspective is people are going to have to choose. And I've been telling people, you got to choose if it's actually worth being tested. If the animal, if it's going to be your holdback, test it no matter what.
Exactly.
You know, but if you're potentially going to sell it and you're like on the fence, I'm like, look, if it only makes your animal from like $300 to $500, it's probably not worth the test, in my opinion. Between the mailing it in all the time and stuff like that. If we're talking about a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 animal, and it's big, multi-recessive project, allelic recessive projects, with asphalt and stuff, those are the ones you want to test. So like, I look at it as like, I think it's there, but also I think you just got to realize you're also taking a risk. I mean, nothing's 100% accurate. I know
exactly.
I've been hearing that there's some kinks to work out still. So. That's kind of the thing I asterisk and say, okay, great. If it tests back and it's positive, maybe I'm 90% confident or something, or 85% confident now that it's for sure going to be asphalt, but I still leave that doubt in, because the testing is so new and we still need to continue to advance in that space as well. I think.
Exactly. From what the people have tested so far, I'm waiting to see when they breed, is the test prove correct?
Correct.
I mean, you still have to factor in odds here and there. So there's going to be that. It's going to take a little longer time to be 100% sure, or at least 90% sure what you tested was working. But also, as the tests get, the time frame when you get the results back start getting shorter and shorter. That's going to be a game changer as well. And the amount it costs to test, that's going to keep going slowly down as more people get equipment to be able to test. And then you're going to have people be certified as testers or something like that to be like, at least they are certified that they did test this, So there's a lot of moving parts that we're going to have to slowly work out throughout the years. You're going to have your scammers try to come in there and mess stuff up. You got to deal with that. But overall, I think it is a benefit for the industry, not from a business perspective and from a just learning genetics perspective. It's going to be a benefit. You're just going to have growing pains with it,
Right. Exactly. And I think that's everything. I'm a tech guy by trade, hence the name of my business. And I mean, I tell people this work in the technology space. I mean, everything has its bumps and bruises. It's just like a new car when it hits the market. The first year, it may or may not be great. Like it might be 75% great, but have some pretty big recalls. And it's one of those things that I think, as the industry matures, as there becomes other methods to test, out there, I think actually what'll help the testing game is honestly actually competition, not having that, only one person
having a monopoly on it. Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to help because it's going to help make, people have to get to a point of what's the most accurate. How much money do I want to spend? Maybe there's a more accurate one that costs $60, a little bit less accurate, costs $40, gives people some different options and stuff. So I do think that there's a lot of space to grow there. And I'm curious in the next kind of 4 to 5 years, kind of where that's going to be, but also where we're going to draw the line. Like, are we going to be testing on everything? Like even things like black pastel, like, right. I'm just saying,
very true.
Because if we really want to get crazy with it, we could get to a point where then when you're talking about 9-10 gene animals and people don't know, you just send your shed in, okay, hey, guess what? These are the 11 genes that are in here.
Yeah, we just got a question of that with the combos. We got multiple combos in one snake. Do we go get it tested and find out every combo in that snake? And yeah, that's going to be something that's down the road. I know they're really focusing on just recessives right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure eventually codons will get mixed in. Because sometimes you mix some stuff together and you don't really can tell what they are. It happens. We get a lot of pos inchy there because we got so many different things fighting to be on top. You can't really tell it.
Exactly. And then, I mean, it starts throwing things out there too. Like, I don't want to throw too much of a monkey wrench, but like the whole debate where it's always been where some people thought Phantom and Mystic are different. Other people say that they're the same gene, but a different line, and I'm not going to get into my personal opinions and thoughts on that, but like, what happens in those instances where let's say there's something that there's only been one of, and we're testing, and it comes back. And then it's like, nope, sorry, like that's not whatever gene. That's slightly different. It's something else. So I think that's eventually where it can get if we start getting into more of the codoms, where maybe then you start actually finding weird little genetic variances where maybe you do end up finding a couple of new genes. So that could be the upside to it too, as well as it progresses.
And then we still have the issue of I think somebody said there's different lines of albino, lavender albino, and different lines of ultra male. So then that's a whole nother world in that with different lines. So it could get out of hand real fast, but it's also super interesting to see what we didn't know and what we will know in like 10 to 15 years.
Oh, right.
Just because of this.
And I mean, and that's not even getting into the point. I mean, like Desert Ghost, like I'll put it like it was before you had come by at Tinley, but I was talking to Tony Thompson, who was next to me with Hardwire. And because I ended up grabbing something from him, and he was looking at one of the Desert Ghosts, and he goes, "Are you sure there's no OD in that Desert Ghost?" I'm like, "I'm telling you right now, there's no OD in this Desert Ghost." And he's like, "That's the weirdest line of Desert Ghost I've ever seen." I'm like, "It's just a yellow belly Desert Ghost. It just holds the orange, crazy wild." But it wasn't sold as an enhancer line or anything. It's just that male has produced some wild, super orange tones. And I know people who have silver line Desert Ghosts that are pretty much real silvery in tone. So they're all compatible, though, with each other when you put them together. So I think, I think that's kind of the unique part when genetic testing continues to keep going. They've already found out that there's multiple lines of yellow belly, which, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of knew that there probably was.
Yeah.
But now that we're able to kind of put that to paper, I think those are some of the unique things, if you really want to get nitty gritty about it, where then people can say, what's the best line of X to use to really enhance this combo, that much more. When we get to that point, then we're going to be able to be real picky, and then we're all going to be snooty like the art industry.
Very true. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Let's see. I've seen the question. Did I see a question? Clicking too fast. My wife asked me, "Do I want to eat?" So let's go to another question. So, how do you advertise your available animals?
Yeah, so most of my stuff is obviously it's all put on the Morph Market. On top of that, I try to regularly post on Instagram for when there's new clutches, new stuff hatching. It also goes to my Facebook page as well.
Okay.
Occasionally, I'll go and I'll share it out to certain Facebook groups here and there. If I see in the area someone's looking for something exactly that I have, I'll shoot them a message and stuff. Otherwise, outside of that, a lot of it is shows. Outside of those kind of main channels, I kind of look at it as you have to build your brand, and part of building your brand is like there's I don't know how many ball python breeders there are, but when you're backed up against so many different people, the only way to make someone feel comfortable with you is the more shows you go to, they now see a face. They put a face to your brand, to your name, and then that's more comfortability that they're hopefully going to feel over time with, being able to purchase an animal, driving an animal, from your business perspective. So that's really, how I've done a lot of my marketing. I don't know if you call that grassroots or whatever it is. I'm not a marketing genius, but it's just me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, I forget how much marketing there is at shows.
Yeah,
like you got your banner, you got your table, cards. Some people make like little things with their like keychains, magnets. Who was it? I'm blanking on his name. Best Dressed Balls has his jackets he brings out.
Yeah,
but you have your little gimmicks here and there that help promote you, help you stand out from other people. Because that's the name of the game. When you're at a show, you want to stand out, so people come to you. So that's definitely a way to do it. Do you have anything that you do specifically that you feel makes you stand out a little more?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that there's anything. I guess I don't know. I'm not going to brag and say, "Hey, I'm the best at this or that." But a couple people have asked, why, right off the bat and stuff like that. I've always had, the big backdrop and whatnot, and I always tell people, I'm like, look, how your backdrop presents is a big part of just people. Like even when I go do smaller regional shows, not the big NARBC shows, the reason people come to my table is because when everybody else just has their little flag or flyer and they see a big backdrop and someone says, okay, I'm going to spend, $500 on my kid or something like that for a ball python, they're going to trust the big brand. They're going to trust the one that, looks professional. So I tried to basically kind of build a clean, professional, kind of modern, techie vibe look. That's just kind of, my play. The other thing now has been because I test everything. Like I have spent easily over $8,000 testing everything for nidovirus, sunshine virus. You ask it, I'm testing it, I'm swabbing it, and it's because I don't have any time for people who aren't going to spend the time to put money into that. Because once you start putting so much money in your collection, it only takes one to ruin your collection. And so that's why I have the zoological quarantine. I have all these check boxes that you got to run through as a snake before you even move to my main room now. And I mean, I sell them at shows. And I started bringing them this year, and I'll talk about them with people, and people don't realize, but I tell people, I'm like 30% of the captive bred population right now of ball pythons, 30% is estimated to have nidovirus.
Really?
Yeah. So think about it. And people think that that's absolutely crazy. And I go, well, no, it's not crazy. This is what happens when people continue to keep breeding together, and we're breeding the same snakes. You're not bringing in new lines. I try to make sure that I diversify my collection, always bring in new lines and stuff to keep the strength of the animals I'm breeding, but also consistently test. I mean, stuff happens. I get it. And people, some of these big guys now, they just say, why do a representative sample every year? I said, but what if you continue to keep missing your sample?
Yeah.
And I say, look, if you're making $300,000, $500,000 on ball pythons, if you're posting your badass sports cars and all that type of stuff, that's great if you want to gloat about it. But I know that you got the money to test your snakes. Test them, make sure your stuff's clean. Because for me, if you guys don't want to, that's 100% fine. But I'll keep testing my stuff and backing my stuff, and I'll gladly sell your customers test kits all day long. Because the way I look at it is, that's something that's going to have to happen in our industry, because we're getting to a point now where that's how we're going to have to start weeding, certain animals out that should not be bred anymore.
True. True. And that's how we're going to get rid of some of these diseases that are such devastators to animals. I honestly, I'm waiting for it to be more not frowned upon talking about it as much. Like it's gotten to a lot better place from years past where people weren't afraid to talk about nidovirus, really bring it up, and we really get actual good information on this. Exactly. A lot of it's been like, oh, I think it does this, and I think it does that. Or if you don't touch this, you'll be fine. And half of it's not true.
Correct. And that was the thing. This year was first year, and there were a couple of big guys I was educating, and they didn't even realize some of those things. And I was like, well, so I'm a little weird too. I'm buying medical equipment and stuff besides just the ultrasound. I'm talking about, the optoscope so I can look down the throat of the snake. I'm talking about specialized, basically cardiothoracic based stethoscopes to be able to actually see the heart rate, the lung rate, to be able to test for different, basically things like heart murmurs and stuff and boas. But part of the reason is because so I tell people the reason nido, one of the ways you can catch it, even if you don't see it in the snake, besides obviously testing, is open that snake's mouth. I always tell people, and people go, what are you doing when you get a brand new snake? I said, I'm opening its mouth and I'm looking and seeing down the throat. And they go, why are you doing that? I said, because it could have little tiny RIs that never get caught over the years, constantly, over and over. And what that does is it causes little tiny scars in the throat. And those are basically hematomic hemorrhages. Those are sometimes can be a key in saying, hey, this has got something else underlying going on. And a lot of people don't realize that. I've had other people too, where one guy was like, yeah, I've only had one snake that's had, an RI once and whatnot. And I got that cleared up and whatnot. And I was like, no, dude. I said, yeah, RIs can, stay technically undetected for about 2 weeks before they start showing signs. I said, but nido is something that can show signs 5 years later, 10 years later, never show signs. So you got to test.
Wow. Yeah. The fact that it can lay dormant for so long, just devastating. I didn't know about the throat, being able to check the throat and see that. That's that's good.
I mean, a lot of people didn't know that, and didn't check those things. And it's like now, I'm not saying like every single time, but like now after seeing it a few times, stuff like that, and my vet knows me real well. So like that's what's pretty cool. Like it's funny, we'll talk about the stuff and nerd out, and he's like, dude, you missed. He always tells me, he's like, you missed your calling. And I was like, maybe I did, but like there are sometimes like, man, if you could just see the snake and you're just like, something's not right with it. Like, like you can just tell like something's not right. And like I said, that's part of the reason why I highlight, like, even though you can inbreed snakes, you need to be bringing new stuff into your collection, because otherwise, if you don't, like, you're basically creating a weaker collection. That's why people crossbreed dogs as well. So I think I see the accuracy of the testing.
Yeah.
So the accuracy of the testing, the PCR testing, it is in like that. If you're with what's available right now, it is in that like 90, 95 percentile. I think 96% or something. I can't remember exactly what the percentage is, so don't quote me on it. But, it is pretty accurate. And that's mainly based on the fact that right now it's not like a rapid test. Now, I will be telling you that that's something that, at Tinley, I was trying to raise and continue to keep driving. I do want to, kind of working with the labs and stuff like that, get it to a point where we can have rapid tests, because even if the rapid test, let's say, is 80% accurate, the nice part is that you don't go to a show, you buy the snake, you bring it home. The show's on a weekend. You can't test it anyways till Monday. Send it out Monday. You're not going to get an answer till Wednesday. The breeder says, nope, I'm good. My health guarantee, sorry. Because some people might, I'm just saying, because of how their guarantee is written.
Yep.
If you can rapid test right there and also show that person that's buying that $5,000 snake, hey, man, your $5,000 investment is safe. Even if it's not 100% accurate, even if we can get something that's just 80% or 75%, it at least gives a buyer confidence. And I think that that's something we need to get eventually in the future as well, because we got people dropping 10 grand. I mean, Sunset Pied's 50 grand plus.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to drop on a living animal and have an issue, because I know at least in the horse community, man, if you sold me a horse and that horse, like a Clydesdale or something, had an eye infection or something, like someone's knocking down your door with a shotgun type of thing. Like, you ain't existing anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's, big time bucks,
Yeah.
Same with dogs.
Like with the health guarantee there, that is something we definitely should be moving towards, because we already still have to worry about that animal breeding and being able to produce. So to take one element of that out and be a little more secure in that investment, it would be great for the community. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I'll tell people straight up all the time, like they're buying and stuff like that. Like the one time, like I told someone, because they had said, oh, I bought from someone for, and they had knit on. I straight up handed them a test and I said, here, you could buy a snake. I said, today, if you want, I can test it. I'll send it in, and then I can have the results sent to you, and then I'll send the snake out to you. But you pay for the test, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to come back negative, because I've already tested everything in my collection. Or if you want to do it the other way, that's great. But I always tell people, I'm like, look, if it comes back positive, then okay, great. Then I was wrong. I keep the snake. I cover the cost of the test. That's fine. But if it comes back negative, because I know it will, because I keep testing all my stuff, then you cover the cost of the test plus the snake. I mean, I think that's, a fair way to do it. And that's
reasonable.
I'm always open and willing to do that with people, because I get it, because it's a lot of money, and I want people to enjoy what they're getting and feel confident in what they're getting, and realize that, look, even if something were to slip through the cracks, like some way, somehow, I got you, because stuff happens and nothing's 100% accurate.
Definitely. So before we go to the next question, guys, it is time for tip of the week. Tip of the week is when I post a post on my Instagram, or my Facebook, or my YouTube. And under that post, all you have to do is put a comment, whether it's reptile related, YouTube related, or life related. Whichever comment gets the most likes will get shot out and featured on the next episode of Under 1,000 Pod. So without further ado, and I have to find it, here we go. This week's tip of the week. This week's tip comes from Peace and Pets. The only secret worth keeping in this hobby is your future world first projects. Everything else is free game. I semi-agree with that. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with sharing information and help everybody learn and grow. So definitely do that. Thanks again, Peace and Pets. Go check them out on their Instagram and their YouTube channel. That has been this week's tip of the week. Thank you for that tip. Yeah, so we have been like doing more sharing, more informational sharing throughout the community. From what I heard way back in the reptile community, people will find stuff out and wouldn't tell people. They'll find out certain morphs wouldn't produce, or certain morphs would produce kinks, and you would have to do certain things. And they wouldn't tell people and just sell off that part of their collection to people. So I'm glad that has changed. We've become more transparent and open with information with each other and helping each other understand stuff and learn stuff and not hiding it and waiting for them to learn it maybe 5 years down the road after they did a big investment. But I'm glad that has changed 100% right now. So where we? Let's see what comment we got. Oh, got somebody from Facebook. Hey, Alan, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Let's hit another question. Question 4. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, do you breed or buy your snake food?
Yeah. So with my full-time job and obviously all the things I'm breeding here in my house, I leave the rodent breeding up to my buddy Justin and his wife Christine. So shout out Justin, Christine, if you're watching this right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do. I don't think that they sleep. I'm pretty sure that they smell rodent food probably in their sleep. They run a really awesome exotic shop pet store. They also breed ball pythons as well, but like we've been friends now probably for 5+ years, and they've been my rodent source ever since. So I mean, okay. I can't not support local. So shout out Justin, Christine, if you're watching right now. Thank you so much for always providing us rodents.
So do you do live or frozen?
Yeah, so I do live with my collection occasionally. If I'm short a rodent or so, I usually have a small like frozen stock, and yeah, I'll heat one up and throw it in because things like boa constrictors don't care. But from a ball python perspective, I do live off of hemostats. Realistically, I can just open the tubs and all my snakes are waiting there, and they're just ripping them all off of hemostats like that. And for me, it's just the fastest way to be able to do it, just to be able to get it all done. I mean, I still make sure, obviously, my snakes aren't getting gnawed on and stuff. I don't leave rodents unattended in the tub. Like I said, there's a reason I do it off of hemostats, because then if someone's going to frozen thawed, it's the same type of action that's happening. So it's real easy. And I've had a lot of my customers, without issue, just go straight to frozen thawed.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. So how often do you get rodents? Do you do it once a week? Are you feeding weekly?
Yeah, I do weekly. Weekly. Actually, after the podcast here tonight, I'll be driving on by, grab them late, and that's what Friday nights is usually for me, is feeding. It's just kind of part of the the routine that I'm
very
in.
True.
But at the same time, like when it's like that perfect time, like right before breeding season and all the girls get super hungry, it's really cool when you just get them and it's just like in a row. And like, I just always want to play like the Nutcracker Symphony, because it's just like boom, 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 boom. Just going down a row.
I totally understand that. That is really cool. So before we go to our next question, which I'm going to have to put in the chat, for some reason it didn't pop up here. We're going to say thank you to our episode partner, Keys Constrictors. Yes, check them out. Their link will be in the description. I forgot to put it in the description. I'm going to put it in the description after this episode. Go check them out on Instagram and YouTube. They just hit 2,000 subscribers, and they are our episode partner for this episode. Thank you so much for being the episode partner for this episode. Greatly appreciate it. T and Keisha are amazing, great people, run a great, awesome podcast. So definitely go check that out on their channels, Keys Constrictors. So for some reason, when I thought I put question 5 up here, but it didn't pop up on my computer, so I have to put it in the chat. And I'm stalling because I'm waiting for it to show up in the chat. So there we go. You see that? A little bit behind the scenes stuff. So what is something you would like to achieve with your social media this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, last year, I know the goal for me was just being more present, period, because I really wasn't the year before. And this year, I think it's going to be trying to get, do more live, things like this, more outreach from that perspective, as well as, just continue to kind of raise some of like the awareness from some of just kind of the techie side we talked about with testing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just me being a nerd, but I think that's kind of my main goal, because I really haven't done, even on my personal like Instagram, Facebook, like I haven't gone live that much, and that's on me, guys. I need to do that more. I need to maybe show off a tad more of things that I may or may not be showing off.
I can understand, but trust me, that's a job in itself. Like doing YouTube, Instagram, doing lives, doing social media itself is another job. 100%. So it takes time to push that into your workflow with your snakes, and then your regular job, and then you got tarantulas, you got the monitors, so you got a lot going on. So we can give you a little bit of pass, but we will be looking for more of your social media presence this year. And I might have to send you a message like, hey, I haven't seen a post in a while, just to, give you that positive support.
Yeah, no, I definitely need it. It's been funny because even in my day job, people have been poking for years at work, and they're like, man, you need to do a cybersecurity podcast. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that at some point. I still haven't, and it's been like 5 years now. So.
There's so many different avenues you can go. It's hard to, because once you start one podcast, you're like, oh, I could be doing this podcast.
Exactly.
I talk about this all the time. I can do this.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I can totally understand that. So guys, if you have any questions for Nick, please put them in the chat. We will try to get to them if we can. I'm gonna ask Nick my last question, which probably will lead to 1 or 2 more questions. That's usually how that works. But definitely put a question in there. We'll definitely try to get to it. But Nick, what's your dream snake to produce?
So this one's actually developed a little bit. So originally, my goal was to try to get to freeway genetic striped clown.
Okay.
And then I kind of backed into it, and I was like, all right, well, at this point we're going to up it one more, because everything in that project at this point has leopard, and everything in that project is set up for Pompeii. So now we're going to try to hit a leopard Pompeii freeway genetic striped clown. So that's pretty much, that's the big project that like slowly, either between buying pieces and some breedings every year and stuff. Last year sucked because I would have had probably about half of it done, and the girl croaked on me. She pushed out eggs. The eggs just didn't calcify, and she died. And I was like, this sucks. But this year we've got another shot in the barrel to get about halfway there, and we've got the other half of the project on the clown side growing up. So, as soon as those pieces kind of all get together, that's going to be the long-term goal. I love freeway, and I love the genetic striped clown project. So it was a no-brainer. And then my buddy was like, yo, you should do Pompeii. And I was like, screw it. Let's just put it all together. And then leopard is in everything in my genetic stripe and clown stuff. So.
Okay. Oh, wow. So that's I know it's like almost a 7 to 8 gene animal.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a long project, but really interested to see how that would turn out though, because I can't visually see all those pieces in one. I can see them separately, but trying to put them into one and see how they're gonna have a battle. They're gonna have a battle in there, and it's just to see who wins on what aspect of the snake in that battle is really interesting. Oh wow.
It's either going to be epic or a complete fail, but I mean, there's a buddy of mine, Lou, that makes this joke sometimes with some of the pairings, and he's like, you're putting yourself in for like a headache of trying to ID it. I'm like, that's okay, I'll do it all the time.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. So we'll ask Cryptic's puzzles. Is that?
Yep.
Oh, you're working on that.
Yep. So I have double visual. Thanks, Azzy. But that's going to be going into my Desert Ghost cryptic stuff. So we're going to be going triples with that right off the bat.
Oh, right off the bat. Okay.
Because I already have Desert Ghost Heck cryptic girls.
So I'm still.
Thanks, Fireball.
He does have some nice stuff. I got a DG from him and an albino G stripe from him. That was my first step into G stripe. I finally got into it. So Cryptic and Krypton, I get it to a vague extent to where I'm understanding that one is a visual representation of a het, basically. Correct? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because basically, Krypton is one set of clown gene and then one set of cryptic gene together. So they're allelic. It's basically a recessive concept of basically what a freeway, yellow belly and asphalt. You make an allelic combo and you hit the freeway. It's the same thing, and then that's why you get the representation of Krypton versus if you had two pairs of cryptic or two pairs of clown, you would hit clown or cryptic. So because of that, if you're pairing a cryptic to a clown, they automatically each have to pass one pair of that gene to each side. So you're going to get all Kryptons.
Okay. Yeah, it's a visual double head. Okay.
Yeah, hashtag what's up, Team Cryptic.
Yeah, Malacio's a big fan of Cryptic. He's a big fan. So I seen one question. Somebody asked this question, which I actually am going to make it a giveaway question because you've already answered this. So whoever puts in the chat first what his answer was for his favorite recessive and his favorite codom will get a sticker recessive pack from me. So whoever puts it in there first will get that and win that. Hopefully you guys were around and listening. What's up? We got some people from Twitch. What's up? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. So how is your breeding season going so far? Have you been doing pairings while we're stalling before we see who puts in
no worries. So we've done some pairings already. I mean, the Desert Ghost stuff is looking good. We should hopefully hit some Desert Ghost pies this year, as well as make some additional Desert Ghost pied pieces for that project. So those look to be hopefully some of my earlier stuff. I've already got 2 sets of eggs that are ready to hatch here in February.
Nice.
We got some blackhead spot nose clown clutches. I can't remember what the other clutch is off the top of my head. I think it's something asphalt related. I just can't remember exactly which clutch it is. A couple of my other stuff, though, I mean, in general, a lot of my girls really seem to get going right around like that mid-February timeline. So it's still a little early for most of my girls. But, knock on wood, we should be hopefully rolling once we really be seeing a lot more coming into February, March. So that, is just, part of the game. But, I'm always ultrasound. I actually got an ultrasound this weekend and see where girls are at.
Yeah, I got an ultrasound this weekend too. I'm not in a rush because usually my girls go late. It's just how it's been for me. Did you girls usually go early in the year?
Yeah, I mean, so it's really kind of been dependent on the girl. Like, I mean, I've got, one of my monster probably oldest girl in my collection that's, 8, 9, 10 years old. I mean, she's like clockwork as far as when she's going to hit 25 millimeters. And for me, that's what I care about. 25 millimeters, they go off food. I know at that point for sure that there's no way I'm going to get them to reabsorb. They're going to go and ovulate at that point for me. Mm-hmm. I've never had one reabsorb at that point after that. So like, I know like some of those girls, it's going to be mid-February or it's going to be March. And then I've got other ones that are late. I think it's just kind of obviously all, depends on the girls and obviously the new girls. So I've kind of, for the most part, had it pretty spread out, but I do seem to like have this weird second wave that it's like May through August every year, where like it's like every other girl and even girls that you weren't like expecting to probably go, that you forgot to stopped ultrasounding for a while, that just all start exploding, because I had about like 3-4 clutches I wasn't expecting this past year.
Oh, those are always great surprises. 100%. So we got one of the answers is correct. We're still waiting for. We got you got one part of the question correct. So let's see. You guys don't want a sticker pack? I can understand. Hey, sticker packs are great though, you guys.
I see someone who got both of them right.
Did they wear it? It's not
puzzle and asphalt.
Is it? I thought you said acid.
No, asphalt.
Oh, asphalt. So we got the questions right. There we go. So I will hit you up and let me I'm gonna do a screenshot right quick. I'll make sure send you out some stickers. I'm going to message you. I'm gonna find you. Are you on Instagram? Let me know if you're on Instagram. Message me on Instagram and then I will get your address and send you stickers. I thought you said acid.
No,
I was like,
I do a lot of acid, but
I know that's one of the things we were talking about when I talked to you at Tinley. I was looking at your acid and I was like, oh my God.
part of the reason I didn't choose acid is, one of my favorites, even though I do like it, is technically because to this point there's no super, so it's technically dominant, so you can't say it's co-dom at that point. Otherwise, it is one of my favorites. Obviously, I like dumped a ton. I made a ton of it this year, and I'm like, got it coming out of my ears.
Did John say it first? They said John said it first. John said, John
had the co-dom. Oh, then he put the puzzle piece.
I see. That's what threw me off. I didn't see the puzzle piece. So technically you're right. John said it first. So John, you will get messaged. Message me on Instagram if you are on Instagram. If not, send me a message. I think you can message me on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll get it to you. Because technically you're right. John did say it first. You did right. I didn't pay. I thought those were clovers. I don't know why, because I just saw green, so I thought they're clovers. But John did it with pizzazz. That's what happened. John did his answer with pizzazz. So definitely. So we'll get that to you. But Nick, is there anything you got coming up? Shows you got coming up? You want to promote? Let people know about?
Yeah, definitely. So this year we will be doing. So first show of the year will be at the end of February. We're going out to Lafayette, Indiana, for the new Lafayette Reptile Expo. So we want to see that one out. Both myself and SRS Exotics will be vending together like we did over at St. Louis NARBC. So we'll be doing that one. And then after that, really kind of the kickoff of the year for me is always Tinley. It's my home show in a sense. And then we'll be doing a lot of the scaled up shows in Wisconsin. I do want people to just, keep following. I put all my shows on my Facebook page, try to also post when I'm at shows on Instagram. There are a couple of shows we are looking to add both down in Georgia and Atlanta, also as well, potentially out towards like Nebraska or Minnesota or Kansas City. So potentially even Denver, Colorado. So we're definitely trying to do that outreach, get a larger outreach, hit more customers up, and just have fun while we're doing it.
Nice. So definitely mark your calendars, get ready for those shows. Check his Instagram because that's where he'll put the dates on those shows so you know when they are. So definitely look at. I'm looking forward to Tinley. I forget it's coming up so fast too. Coming up so fast.
Yeah, I think it's March 18th, 19th. Someone can correct me on that. I don't remember the date, but
I think I think they just started putting out tickets for it too because I seen a post about it. So very excited for that. But guys, before we go, we got to say thank you to our monthly sponsor. This month's sponsor before we go. So without further ado, here is this month's sponsor. This month's sponsor is Big D's Pythons. Yes, Derek is Big D's Pythons. He's a great guy, great friend, also an amazing ball python breeder. He produced some awesome animals this season, so definitely go check it out. Check out his morph market, his Instagram, to see some of those animals if you're interested. But he also is a YouTuber. He has his own YouTube channel and his own podcast he does every Thursday, Thirsty Thursdays. Go check him out on Thursday with Hutch. They host it together. It's a great time. Definitely go watch it. But also Derek carries the chipper. So if you're in need of cocoa and you're in the Illinois area, Derek is the one you can call. He could probably meet up with you and you guys can handle business there. But he also can ship it. So if you're looking for cocoa, definitely hit Derek up. But thank you, Derek, for being the sponsor of this month's episode. Greatly appreciate it. And go check Derek out and make sure you hit that subscribe, follow, and tell him I sent you. All right, there you go. Thanks again, Derek, for being this month's sponsor. Greatly appreciated. Go check him out. Links are in the description down below. He's got a lot of cocoa if you're looking for cocoa too, so definitely hit him up for that. Nick, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. It was so fun to talk to you. I learned more stuff again. I'm so excited to learn even more. We're definitely going to try to get you back maybe in like 2 or 3 months. And we're going to talk tarantulas.
Let's do it.
I want a tarantula, but I also have a slight spider phobia. I'm not terrified of them, but I'm a little scared. So I'll say arachnophobia. That's what
we're gonna get you over that arachnophobia at any RBC.
All right. We'll try to make a video of that because you'll see me a little squeamish about it. And we can post it on Nick's Instagram and my Instagram. So that's why we get Nick be on Instagram more too. So there we go. See, we're making plans already. I love it. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on so much. Greatly appreciate you guys spending this time. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Apparently, YouTube likes it when you guys hit that like button, and I like that YouTube likes it. So if you could go ahead and hit that like button for me, greatly appreciated. And if you're not done for the night, go check out Keys Constrictors Hair Down Fridays is on right now, or they're about to start real soon. And after that, you could check out Derek from Big D's Pythons. He has Fun Fact Fridays. And there are many other live podcasts going on right now. So definitely go check out, hit somebody in the comments, say, hey, go support the community at large. But thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us. Greatly appreciated. Until next time, see everybody later. Oh, Nick, stay 1 second. I'm going to do something weird. I got to end the show. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.